it's sci-fi, and then you're kind of like, is it?
Just a few days ago, the Pentagon confirmed that a 2019 video of a UFO sighting is actually real. It was a UFO.
But like, just simple stuff like that, it makes me believe more in like extraterrestrial beings or other life among us because it is so secret.
A mystery in the night sky. What some say are drones, lots of them, but no one seems to know from where or why.
Just keeping that small secret is like, okay, what else are you keeping from me?
Yeah.
You know, like, are the pigeons actually cameras? Are they real? You know, like, so then it makes you think that, like, some of these crazy conspiracy theories might be real.
The encounters being shared today are 100% truthful as to the speaker's knowledge. In order to protect the individuals in today's episode, their identities will remain anonymous.
My mom told me this story one time, and I've never forgotten it ever since. And I will tell my kids, and they're going to tell their kids, and I'll tell everybody I meet. Because my mom is not a liar. And, you know, something this weird is not made up. She's a teenager, and she was in Lexington looking for a party. Because, you know, in the 90s, there's parties everywhere. She told me there was parties everywhere. So literally every weekend, they would just drive around and go to like 6 different parties that night. Her and her friend came from money, had a really nice 2-door, like, Porsche sports car, red, bright red. And they were just driving around, listening to music, whatever. They couldn't find a party. My mom was like, okay, whatever. Just no one, everybody's lame. And so they decided to drive around Lexington all night and just drive, listen to music. They were going probably like 80, 90, 100 on, you know, in the sports car on the nurse day, whatever. They got weirded out because there was nobody out. And, you know, back then it wasn't like you could sit on your phone on Instagram in bed all night. When you were a teen, you stayed out till 4 or 5 in the morning, driving around, even just sitting at a gas station. She's like, are we tripping? Like, everyone's just lame, whatever. So she got a weird feeling. And my mom's not scared of anything. Since I've been alive, I've never seen my mom fear anything. It was probably about 2 or 3 in the morning. My mom said she just got sick. And all of a sudden, this popped out of nowhere. And it was huge. And it was in the sky. And she said that she wasn't sure of the shape at first because it was so bright that she'd never seen anything like that. It was almost like staring into the sun. She was like trying to peek through her fingers because it was so bright. And she felt so scared. But then she was like intrigued. Like when you think you're in a haunted house. And she said she looked at her friend and she was like, what is that? Let's follow it. So they had nothing else to do. And my mom convinced her friend to just follow it. And it was just flying around the sky in Lexington. And so they were chasing it. I mean, I'm talking probably going like 120 in this sports car. Just having the time of life. I'm picturing like windows down, music blasting, like screaming the lyrics of the song, following this thing. They just thought they discovered something. They were experiencing history being made, you know, a new airship or whatever the case may be. And as it kept going, it kept getting faster and faster to the point where she was like, there's no way this technology exists. They kept following it and they lost it. And it was probably 4 in the morning. They followed it for about an hour. So they started freaking out and they felt really weird and they were like, let's just go home. So they're driving home, like you said, middle of nowhere. I'm assuming it was like in the country, pitch black, dark, going home, back road. They forget about it. And they come across this gas station in the middle of nowhere. And they saw it. And my mom said it was just like resting, like on top of this gas station. Said she couldn't even breathe. Like her chest was so heavy, her heart was pounding out of her chest because she was this close. She said that it was so big that like it covered the whole gas station. It was almost like the gas station was almost pitch black dark because it was covering any type of light source that could have hit this gas station. She started like almost gagging. She was gonna puke. She felt horrible. She felt scared. She was shaking. She couldn't even move, standing in the middle of the road in the country, pitch black dark. I wouldn't get out of the car. And my mom said the noise was so loud, she felt like her ears were gonna burst. And she said that it was just like a buzz.
Like pressure.
Like, yeah. And she said she could feel it, like it's almost like her body was vibrating. Then all of a sudden, it just stops hovering. The sound stops, and it's just resting in the air. And my mom said that, like, she just gasped for air, and this thing shoots straight up in the air. Straight up. And she said it just disappeared. They get in the car and they speed home. They're crying their eyes out, scared. They feel so weird, like they had been, like, violated, or like someone was out to get them. So, like I was saying, my Nana's intuition kicked in. And she knew that, she didn't know, I don't think, what was happening, but she knew that my mom was in trouble and that she was scared, so. My grandmother was really spiritual, and religious. Being an immigrant, like, I'm a first-generation American. My mom came here when she was 9, so my whole family is from Chile. So they had to come here and had no choice but to have, like, 3 jobs each. Work till the sun came up, till the sun set, never sleep, always work all the time, just to have money. My mom would always tell me that she knew things that no one else knew. Like, I don't know, my Nana just knew. Or she'd come to the rescue in the middle of the night at 4 a.m. Like, what mother knows that happens? Because back then there weren't GPS trackers or anything on phone. There weren't even phones. Like, my mom had a huge phone the size of, like, a brick, you know? And, like, you couldn't track location on that. You know, now parents know everything. But, like, she tells me stories all the time about how, you know, she just knew things, but it was more of a spiritual type thing. It was, like, 5 o'clock in the morning at this point, and when my mom rushed home with her friend, my Nana was up. And she was sitting on the couch. She was like, "What's going on? Tell me what's going on." And my mom was scared to tell her because she said, "She'll think I'm on drugs." This is crazy. I mean, imagine being a teen and having this pressure. Like, I have to go home and tell my parents that I think I just saw something not from this earth. No one's going to believe me. I'm crazy. But you feel so scared that you have to tell people. You have to get it out. But you can't. I mean, it's almost like embarrassing, but you can't not tell her because you feel scared. You know, like, they might come back and get you. You know what I'm saying? So, my Nana never questioned my mom and never questioned if she was lying, ever. She just she believed her because my mom never lied. And my Nana knew something was wrong. When you see your kid that hysterical, you can't tell them that they're making that up. So she said, "Okay, let's go to your friends. Let's wake up her mom. Let's tell her, and we'll call the airport. Lexington Airport." So they go over there. They're still crying, hysterical, shaking, just shaking in fear. And they're on the phone at the airport for hours. They just said, "Hey, my kids kind of saw something in the air. We just want to confirm that it's some, you know," because airports have pretty much a map of everything in the air. They know what's in there. They know everything that's going on. So they're on the phone for hours. They kept getting transferred because no one knew what it was. Even at the airport, they were shocked. They said, "Well, we don't have anything on our radar. Nothing happened." So they thought that they were being delusional. They were like, "This is a prank call. This is stupid." But my Nana knew something was so wrong.
The number you have reached has been disconnected. We apologize for the delay. All of our agents are still assisting other calls. To continue holding, please press 1 on your phone now. Thank you.
Finally, after hours of being on the phone, some man, my mom said in the deepest voice she's ever heard in her life, got on the phone And he said my mother's name and my grandmother's name. And he said her friend's name and her friend's mom's name. He said, I know where you live. I know where you're at. I know your age. I know where you work and go to school. And he said, what you think you saw was a blimp. If you try to go to the media, we know where you are. And he hung up the phone. And the most shocking part of that whole thing is that my mom never told them her name. They never said, this is us, this is our name, this is our address, this is where we work, and this is our school. This is what we do in our everyday life. And we saw this. That's just not happened. They were just asking. That's like calling Walmart and saying, oh, do you all have eggs? They wouldn't know your name. You know what I'm saying? And my mom said after that phone call, she immediately just believed in everything that she thought was a lie. Because she didn't believe in aliens before this. And that's the strangest part, because it's always the people that do not believe in stuff that the stuff happens to. And she said after that, she assumed that he was in the government somewhere. She didn't know who he was. But she said that voice would overplay in her head her whole life. And she still thinks about it. And it's so strange because, like, we're just in Lexington, Kentucky. Like, there's probably people that don't even know Kentucky exists. And they got on the phone and pretty much started my mom's life. And my mom never went to the media, but she's told me, and she's told every single person that's ever asked what happened. Because she said, I'd be willing to die over that. You can't keep something like that, you know? And ever since then, my mom's just kind of believed that they exist. Especially, like, you know, how are you going to threaten someone's life over a blimp that they saw?
Yeah.
So, yeah, that was pretty scary. And especially, it gets so scary to the point where, like, phones weren't... Like, my phone has my thumbprint. People's phones have their whole entire face structure. Back then, that did not exist. And that's what scared me so much when I got told the story. Because now, anyone from the government could call me and know all my information. My card information, my social, everything's on that phone. But, I mean, that shocked me. Literally said their first and last names. And said, I know everything about you. Don't you dare go to the public with this. You know? And the fact that this happened to, like, my mom. And like I said, like, at first I was like, nah, this didn't happen. You're being crazy. My mom never lied to me. My mom doesn't over-exaggerate. My mom is hardcore mom. She's just the way she is. And the fact that she even opened up to me and told me how scared she was proves to me that she wasn't lying. And, you know, the whole thing about my Nana's intuition, that she just knew. All that really plays and just ties into everything. Mm-hmm. And she was just up waiting for my mom just freaks me out because, like I said, my Nana worked all the time, had to be able to feed them, put clothes on their back, and, you know, when she slept, she was asleep. And she woke up and was just sitting in the living room with the lights on and was like, talk to me. And my mom's friend, too, could tell you the identical story that I just told you. Yeah. And the crazy thing was that she wasn't alone. So it did happen to someone else. You know, because I would have believed it way less, maybe, if my mom was by herself. But my mom even told me, we'll go over to her house right now. And just her saying that, I was like, okay, you're right. You're completely right. But yeah, the whole blimp thing was so stupid on their part. Whoever's part, it could have been like the Kentucky government, it could have been the U.S. government. I don't know who my mom talked to. It could have been the president. But it could have been anybody. But they said to keep that mouth shut. He strictly said, it's a blimp that you saw, and you're psycho, and we're gonna, like, murder you if you decide to go
Good year.
Like, literally, like, I dare you. I always ask my mom, you know, why she didn't go to the media with that, because I would have. Because, like I said, I'd be willing to die to become a conspiracy theory. And she just said that she had more to her life. She wanted, you know, have kids. She wanted to be a mom. And she said, you know, if this is real, I can't risk my family's life over this. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't know if she's still on their radar. She's got me now. So they know I exist and they know everything about me, and they probably know I'm in here. Hey, what's up, y'all? I don't care. And yeah, that's what happened.
And we've told the story ever since.
And I've told this story to Maddie G and the softball team and the basketball team and anyone that's ever asked. And I'll tell my kids, and they're going to tell their kids. Because it's just something that, like, it's hard not to tell. So yeah, since that story, I believe that aliens existed, and there wasn't a day that I didn't. And I believe it because of the experience that my mother had and who she is as a person. Made me believe it even more. And I believe it because all the secrets within our government and the society. And I kind of hope it exists because it gives me hope that, you know, we'll be all right. If I end up dead, I want you all to know that it was the government. And yeah, I would be honored to have a conspiracy theory about me. So thank you for listening to my story.
For the record, there are 25 blimps in existence. 25 in the whole world. And I think 5 of them are operating.
I mean, I seriously think that they could have made something else up.